You walk into a perfectly climate-controlled room. You flip on the light, and there, sitting completely still on the wall, is a spider the size of a dime. Instantly, your heart rate quadruples. Your palms start to sweat. You know logically that this tiny creature poses zero physical threat to you, but your body reacts as if you have just stepped on a landmine. You freeze, overwhelmed by an urge to flee. Yet later that same day, you will walk right next to a multi-ton metal machine moving at 60 miles an hour and feel nothing. Statistically, traffic accidents are a leading cause of death globally, but very few people have a crippling, instinctual panic response to crossing the street. Or consider smoking, a habit known to kill millions, yet we can sit calmly in a chair, casually inhaling toxins, without our nervous system sounding a single alarm. It brings up a strange contradiction. Why is the human brain so poorly equipped to assess actual, real-world danger? Your terror of a harmless house spider is an evolutionary ghost, an ancient survival mechanism quietly running in the background of your modern biology. To understand why a bug terrifies you, we have to rewind millions of years. Long before civilization, our early hominid ancestors foraged in the tall grasses of the African savanna. Out there, a single mistake meant death. Because of that constant danger, your biology is highly proactive. Researchers have found that the human visual cortex is literally hardwired to identify the curved shape of a snake or the angular legs of a spider milliseconds before we even consciously register what we are looking at. This is your brain's ancient alarm system. The amygdala hits the panic button, instantly dumping adrenaline directly into your bloodstream. This completely bypasses your rational mind, happening before your logical brain can process the image and realize the threat is harmless. This neural pathway exists specifically because our early ancestors needed to react in fractions of a second to survive the afternoon. Natural selection in the savanna was incredibly unforgiving. The early hominids who stopped to logically evaluate whether an approaching snake was venomous were killed before they could pass on their genes. The survivors were the ones who panicked indiscriminately. They assumed every rustle in the grass was a lethal threat and fled immediately. Over millions of years, that hair trigger response was favored by evolution. It was encoded into human DNA, replicating and passing down through generations to you. Modern phobias are the direct biological inheritance handed down exclusively by the survivors of a hostile ancient world. But this brings us to a fascinating modern problem. Scientists call it evolutionary lag, and it explains why our risk assessment seems so broken today. This graph shows evolutionary lag, the temporal gap between how human environments change exponentially faster than human DNA can adapt. Because of this gap, things like cars, sugary diets, and cigarettes haven't existed long enough to leave a biological mark on our DNA. Standing on a secure, modern balcony still triggers your ancient falling instincts because your body doesn't recognize the safety of the steel and glass. We are essentially walking around using million-year-old biological software to navigate a 21st century environment, scanning the modern world for ancient threats. Your lack of instinctual fear toward a speeding car or a cigarette exists because your ancient threat detection system doesn't know those modern items are dangerous yet. The next time you jump at a shadow or freeze at the sight of a tiny spider on your wall, try to see the reaction for what it is. You are a primate carrying the survival instincts of thousands of hominid generations. Your body is running a defense program that worked for millions of years. That fear is the exact mechanism that kept your ancestors alive long enough to create you. It is a piece of human history you carry with you every day.